I did everything from like selling water bottles on the street, doing garage sales, flipping furniture on the street on OfferUp when that came out. So I was going to become a dentist because that's what I always told my family, even though deep down it was actually like a lie, right? Because I didn't really want to become a dentist. It was just something I had to say to keep everybody happy. And that all changed when we were in college, and one day you came to my house and we were like, yo, I just started something, but I don't know what this is gonna be or go into.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Manny Talks, another episode. Today we have a special guest. His name is Joshua Diaz, good friend of mine. We've been in the trenches now for a few years, and it's insane the progress that we've been able to accomplish together. So he's been able to see not only my journey, but I've been able to witness his journey in the past few years, all the way literally from dropping out of college to building multiple businesses online, and currently the one that we are building. So I'm excited for you guys to hear his story and hear, what he's got to offer. This guy is a beast when it comes to building systems, SOPs, and automating the entire back end of any business at all. So excited for you guys to see. Joshua, appreciate you, bro. Welcome to the pod.
Appreciate you, bro.
Boom.
I am excited to be here.
I took like 4 takes to get this shit going.
It's actually, it's very cool to be here, actually. We've come a long way, so here we are. And we got a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, so first of all, it is crazy because starting the podcast, it literally took me like 3 shots to get the intro done. And it's because like we know so much about each other. Like this guy's right here, is my best friend. So it's like we know so much about each other, our lives and everything we've been through, that this is a little bit hard because like, what am I going to ask him, right? But I do want to ask him specific questions to make sure that we bring you value as the audience. Because right here, hands down, this guy's one of the smartest person friends that I have. So I do know he has a lot of value to bring to the table when it comes to, building SOPs, building systems, business infrastructure, all of this good stuff, and a lot of other areas. So, bro, welcome to the podcast. First thing I do is I like the audience to get to know you a little bit better. Cool. To get to know, who you are, what your background is, and what are you currently working on right now. So take us back a few years, 5, 7 years, 10 years. You were born here in Kendall, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little about your back end story, where you come from.
All right.
What happened? What are you doing right now?
So long story. It's a long story, but here we go.
Keep it short, keep it sweet.
Yeah. So I think, let's go back. Raised, right? I was definitely raised different, right? We kind of had some similarities with how I was raised, but I was raised here in Miami, Florida, in Kendall, mainly with my grandmas, actually. So didn't really live with my mom or my dad. My grandmas were kind of like my main, kind of role models. Cuban American, so everybody was Cuban, raised basically. And me and my brother, I have an older brother, 8 years older than me. We were, we're the first people in our family that actually were able to go to school, college. A big thing in my family was my grandmas were always like, go to college, become either a doctor, a lawyer, something big in school, And my brother actually, he did that. He was like the A-star, student in class. He was top 2 in the full high school. He did everything you were supposed to do, right? Go to school, get good grades, and he became a doctor. So that was like kind of my standard, right? He's now a doctor. He did it. Now I can do it. And a lot of things changed when I was in high school, right? Started going into, business. I did everything from like selling water bottles on the street, doing garage sales, flipping furniture on the street on OfferUp when that came out. So that was kind of I was like in between like business and then also like school, because I was good, we were good kids in school. Me and Manny didn't really know each other in high school, but after we went to the same college, and we did good. We were, high GPAs, because we were all always in that.
We were focused on that. We had that mentality that like, we got to go to school, get good grades. I got that mentality probably like around sophomore years, and then I kind of was hanging out with the right people at the time, and it was like, all right, let's get the grades, let's get the best
let's go to those Ivy League schools, right? Get a scholarship.
The applications.
Yeah, and we did all that. We did AP classes. We we've both finished, top 5% or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call it nowadays, summa cum laude or something like that.
Top 5, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But we were there.
We were in there.
We got into college, and then that's when things started changing drastically, because now we were realizing like maybe this isn't the right road, right?
Yeah.
I remember talking to our counselor, and it was like, oh yeah, you got to do all these, prerequisite classes to become a doctor, right? Or a dentist. That's what kind of like my roadmap. It was like I was going to become a dentist because that's what I always told my family, even though deep down it was actually like a lie, right? Because I didn't really want to become a dentist. It was just something I had to say to keep everybody happy. And that all changed when we were in college, and one day you came to my house and we were like, yo, I just started something, but I don't know what this is going to be or go into. And that's when we kind of started with our first network marketing company.
Yep. That's a good story.
That was a good one.
Yeah. I remember I walked in. I was like, bro, I'm about to take you to a meeting. Make sure you say no. Don't sign up.
Right.
Don't do anything. I just want to take you there. Want to get your feedback. But this is something I'm doing. We got to the meeting, and then at the end, you're like, bro, why am I not signing up to this?
He was already signed up into the network marketing company, and he literally told me on the drive there, like, hey, it's something about this like Forex thing, and if you like hit buy, you can make money from your phone, and if you hit sell, you can also make money on your phone. So we were both like, imagine this is like, Manny was doing car wash. He had his full car wash business back in the day. I was selling everything and anything I could put my hands on. So when we saw we can make, $20, $50, $100 from the phone, like in seconds, it was like, what is this? Where are we going to? And on the drive there, he said, don't, they're going to want to sign you up. You're not signing up. And I was like, all right. We get there. I'm like, I want to sign up. And then he goes, no, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow. And then the next day came and I signed up.
Boom. Logged in for life.
Yeah, that was the start of
that was the start.
Things started changing. And I remember like after a few months of being in that culture of like everybody going towards one thing, and it's like that entrepreneurship, mentality, personal development we started doing there. And I remember one day being in organic chemistry while everybody was like, just focused 100% on the wall and the whiteboard and all the, I still remember, if you're an organic, chemistry major, cyclohexane symbols, right? And I was just like,
you know what I'm saying? This kid's smart.
I have no idea, but I was completely lost. It was the first time in my life I was completely lost in a class, because all I was thinking was like, all right, network marketing, right? Like, what can we do there? I was also starting the vending machine business at that time.
Yeah,
so I was like, if I get 7 locations, 2 each, it was just, my head was not in school. And I was like, maybe there's a change here that we have to make. And I remember calling one time, you were there too. We were at Barnes and Nobles, right?
Oh, your brother. I remember this conversation.
Yeah. And that's when it finally hit me where I think you already dropped out. Yeah, you dropped out.
By the time I signed you up, I was already.
Yeah, he was already. This guy was full fledged.
Yeah.
I was still, in that thing where it's like, this is gonna be a big leap, especially for my family. My grandmas, love them to death, but it was a hard talk, because they were much older than me, right? It wasn't like my mom or dad. It was like my grandmas, right?
Yeah. The conversation was different.
Yeah, it was very different, but actually, when I did that call with my brother that night, because that's where I really wanted to talk to first, I was like, hey, bro, school, not going to do it. And it was like, I was finishing my AA at that time. And I was like, after I do this, I'm not doing this anymore, right? It's just too much time. And I was like, if I can just focus all my time on one thing, maybe, network marketing, we had a lot of things going on there. Or any of our businesses, I know it was going to lead to, bigger and better things rather than school. So I told him that day, and he was like, he did the what ifs, right?
Yeah,
you remember the what ifs?
I remember.
Like, what if it all goes down? What if it blows up? And then I remember talking to you about it, and you were like, what if the world blows up, right?
Yeah, those what ifs with me didn't work.
Yeah, it's like you can say what if to anything, you know?
Yep. And a lot of people go through that stage where it's like they want to make a decision, but unfortunately, they're raised in an environment that they can't beat themselves. They just gotta be the person that everybody expects them to be.
Right.
So I feel it's like people, sometimes you need to step outside of that environment and kind of like look at your life from a whole different perspective, because sometimes that environment is educating you or teaching you or guiding you a way that it was the right way for them, but it might not be the right way for you right now, right? So yeah, don't be afraid to have the conversation. Don't be afraid to like do the research and make the decision. And I'm not encouraging people to drop out. I'm just saying if the school is not for you, then don't be afraid to do your research, commit, and make the decision if the time is right, you know, if that's something you want to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and ultimately, you know, what I found out was like, once you make that decision, everybody keeps on with their lives. Like everybody keeps on
cares.
doing them, and it's now just you. And that's kind of like, you know, that was the point from the beginning that I never saw, because it was always like you said, I was molded by my environment. I was molded by, you know, my brother. You know, my grandma was like, hey, you know, we came to this country to work so hard, but to really provide for you a house, a roof, and the education to do bigger things, right? And they thought that school was the only way. But as soon as I made that decision, was like, you know what? I'm going to believe in myself and just go for it. It was like day and night. Even though in the beginning it was hard, actually the few people in my life that I thought were, you know, gonna go crazy didn't go crazy. Like my grandma was like, they were like, you know what, go for it. You know what, like this is your time, do it. And my brother, it took a while for my brother to like accept it. But now looking back at it, he's all on board. You know, I talk to him, he's like, so how's the business going? How you doing? Everything good? Like he doesn't even think school is an option for me anymore. And back in the day, it was like, yo, you're going to go and...
that's all he knew, though.
Yeah, that's all he knew. And by the way, everybody that tells you, hey, don't do it, like, go to school, it's because they're acting out of, like, fear, and they just want the best for you.
No, they're acting out... Yeah, and they're acting like based on the information they know, right? So people act and make decisions based on what they know. If you're trying to convey or you know, a message or tell someone about something that you're trying to do, make sure that person is fully informed on and has the same context that you have, right? And that happens a lot when it comes to conversations with, you know, mom, dad, grandma, and it's like you're expecting them to know what you're thinking. You're expecting people to know what your context is, and you're expecting them to think like you when they don't have the same. They don't have your context. They don't have all the information. Right. So if you're trying to convey a message to someone, like, make sure whatever the message is, make sure that that person has all the information so you can get a solid conclusion or opinion from that person.
Yeah.
And again, like, look for results. Like, don't be just getting opinions from anybody, because opinions are cheap. That's why everybody has one, right? So when it comes to results and what you're trying to accomplish, make sure you ask the questions to the right people.
Yeah. And a big thing was, you know, this all came from being in an environment where it was like school and like a regular job was like completely out of the picture. Like when we were in the environment of network marketing, we saw people doing 25K for the first time a month, 50K a month. And we were like, what is this even possible? Then 100K, then 250K. And we were like,
it opened up everything.
What is this world that no one knows about, right? Like no one really knows about that world. And it's one of those things where like when you go into business, like it's completely different when you want to do, like, you know, if you want to become a dentist or, you know, a doctor, like you're going to need a degree for that, because that's how society works, right? That's like the model right now. But when you go into business, and we were in an environment when there was like 24, 25-year-olds in business making $25,000 to $100,000 a month. That was the first time it was like, what is happening here? No one knew about it. It's like its own little world. But then once you're in it, that's the only thing you can see.
Yeah, because it all goes back to environment. If that's the environment you're in, that's how you think. That's how you start thinking, because that's what you're seeing. You know, the people speaking and talking about that.
And that was a cool time. We went all in. It was very cool. Network marketing was probably the one place that we learned the most. We had the 100%. Most community. And now that we're building Life Master, it's like we're kind of putting all the pieces, everything we've learned, all the skill sets we put together in the last few years. It's now coming together. Right? And then after that, I actually got a job right after that. That was the jewelry store job at Gray & Sons. And I did that to kind of transition from going from, because that was the only way I knew from my grandmas and everybody, like, hey, you know, if I go to school with the degree that I have right now in biology, I can only really make 40, 50K off the bat, right? And that's like crazy numbers off the bat. But then I got this opportunity at a jewelry store to become like a business development manager there, right? To be on all departments of the business and really be inside a business doing, you know, I think they were doing like 10 million a year.
Yeah, pretty crazy numbers.
Yeah,
back then.
You know, back in the day when I didn't know a lot about business, and it was probably one of the biggest things for me was being in there, and I was in there a lot. You know, I did 2 years, and it was like 160 hour, like every week was like 80-hour weeks. It was crazy amount of work, but I learned the most. I learned all the marketing skills in there. I learned about funnels there. I learned about SEO, a lot of things when it comes to marketing and actually like seeing a business run. And it wasn't an online business, right? Like it was all brick and mortar, you know, jewelry, watches. It was everything in there. But I saw like abundance. I saw people that would come in and, you know, buy a Rolex for, you know, 25, buy an AP for 100,000. Like I saw that there.
Yeah, it opened up your eyes a lot more.
Yeah, and it was just it was actually in the trenches learning about business, right? Like it was a $10 million business, right? Revenue, which no one really talks about. It's a revenue, and then you start seeing the expenses. That guy had $300,000 a month in expenses. You're talking about at the end of the year, a $10 million business was really just profiting $1 million. And that was actually pretty good, right? For businesses, like actual businesses, that's like kind of average, 10%, 20%. But then after that, you start going into the online world, right? And that's when that came in. We kind of, after that, I was like, you know, kind of done with the whole entire 9-to-5 thing. And I was like, you know what? I can do this on my own. And then from there, I did that jump. I did 2 years there at Grandsons. And then after that,
how was the transition from like, first of all, dropping out of school to go all in entrepreneurship, right? Network marketing. Now you don't have an income. You don't have like a justification on going to school, right? I know you did finish your AA, right? You did the 2 years. How was that transition for you from saying, you know, I'm gonna drop out, I'm gonna go all in on this?
It was pretty big. I mean, I think it helped me. The job helped me really. When I went straight off of school, straight into the job, it was like. It wasn't like full on entrepreneurship just yet. So that kind of helped me, but it really taught me like, okay, these are how many hours you got to put in. It taught me a lot of stuff.
I remember now. Yeah, I remember that you dropped out of school and then you went straight into the job.
Into Grandsons. And then I was there full time for a while. But it taught me a lot of little things. One of the biggest things that I learned from there was everything you learn and invest into you, right? It stays with you.
Yep.
Right. So what I was learning, and even in the day-to-day, I didn't see it, like the compound effect, but 2 years of being all the departments, like sales, marketing, in the front, the watchmaking department, like there were so many things in that business that I was like, oh man, this is cool. This is cool. It's cool. Like this is good stuff. And then at the end, when I did make the transition where I was like, all right, now we're going to go all into entrepreneurship, and I quit that, and then the income went down. That was the biggest one, because now
that's when it gets real.
Yeah,
because it's all cool and
it's a different story.
It's all cool and fancy until you don't have like a solid, like you don't have an income coming in.
My biggest thing there was, it's crazy because you're working for yourself, right? You would think you would be like all in. It's your business. You're putting it together. You're excited, and when you wake up 9 a.m, you don't want to get up, right? And that was like the biggest thing for me. It's like it was so hard to get up at 9.
Yeah, the discipline.
To get that discipline. When it was a job, I was there clocking in at 8:05. You know what I mean? Like 8:50, whatever it was. But I had to be there because I was getting paid. That responsibility came with that job.
People don't understand. Like the entire system, education system, is built to prepare you to have a job. Like when you go to school, you show up a certain time, right? You have certain hours, certain people that you respond to, certain things like rules and regulations that you have to follow. Like all of that is preparing you to have a good discipline at a job. Where when you really think about it, when you get out of school and you go to a job, it's the same thing. It's just the only difference now you're getting paid.
Right. And when
It's basically the same.
Yeah. And when I wasn't on the job, it was like now I really had to have that discipline of like, okay, what are your work hours, right? When do you start work, right?
Yeah, now it's just you yourself, and that's it.
That's
like,
it.
There's no one that is, waiting for you to clock in. There's no like, and that's what I tell people. Like, it's cool to like, all right, I'm gonna leave the job and go all in. Yeah, amazing. This is not for everybody.
Yeah, it was.
Like, this is not for everybody because you go through so many cycles up and down, and you have to be disciplined and stay disciplined to what you're trying to build to yourself.
Yeah.
Because if no, you have all the time in the world to fuck up, basically. You know what I mean?
And you will fill that time. I don't know what the law is. There's a name for it, but it's like if you give yourself, a week to do one task, you'll take the full week, even though if it's like, do a to-do list. Like if you say it's gonna be a week, you'll take a
that's
week.
on you. It's nobody else. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Nobody else.
And so when I actually, started doing that, when I went off completely off of Gray, I literally just set a time every single day to go to the public library in Sunny Isles. And that's when I started learning all into funnels. And that's where I got into funnels. And then from there, we started the marketing agency. That's where I was.
So about the marketing agency, tell us a little about that.
That was probably, now that I was off of Gray, right? I was like, what do I know? Right? What are my skill sets that I had? And one of the biggest ones was like, okay, I know website development. I kind of know how to, put together graphics. I know how to put together the content, the SEO. And I was like, you know what? I can sell this, right? And at that time, I was really, really into ClickFunnels. Got into all their challenges.
You went heavy into ClickFunnels.
Started studying funnels and copywriting like crazy in that library. I remember doing like 2-3 months in that library every single day, just studying and studying and studying. And then there got to a moment where I was like, okay, I have to stop studying.
And start and get to do.
Yeah, I started doing. Because I think that's like the biggest thing I have is like I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
All day, every day. But you cannot be a perfectionist, all the time, because if not, you won't do anything, right?
You won't. Perfect would never get done.
Yeah, it will never get done.
It would never get done. And
100%.
it doesn't matter how, like, bro, how I feel about entrepreneurship is you just gotta fucking go do, and then you figure it out on the way. If you're trying to figure everything out beforehand, like, you're never gonna do anything.
Yep.
Because it's never gonna be perfect. And what happens to a lot of people is people try to solve problems that they haven't come up yet. So it's like they try to answer questions that they haven't even been asked yet. So it's like you're trying to start a business and then you start asking, what if the client comes in and, puts says a bad review? Or what if, I launch this business? What ifs, right? And then you start trying to solve all these scenarios when they haven't even happened yet. So just go start the business, open up the doors, let clients in, right? And then once the clients come in, then you get the real questions. Right. You get the real problems and you start tackling them one at a time. Yep. So like, study is great. You need the foundation, but I feel no matter what business you're going into, no matter what it is that you're doing in life, you're going to learn a lot faster if you just go do. Like, just go do. Figure it out. Get hit in the face. Like, go make the calls. Go start the business. Go get the clients in. Get money in, and you figure it out on the way. Because now you put yourself in a situation that is like, I have to learn. Because I got clients counting on me.
Yeah.
So it all goes back to the psychology behind the structuring on the educational system, where it's like the people have expectations of you. You have someone to respond to. So like figure out a way to put yourself in that situation. Let me sell this thing, right? Let me see if clients actually want it, right? Let me get money in. Then it's like I have someone that is expecting something from me. I have a responsibility to fulfill. Now I got to go learn and figure this out.
Yep.
So I feel it's just getting out the door and doing.
Doing is the number one thing.
Yep.
And I'll tell you a big mistake that I did, right, was, when I was studying about funnels, I was like, you know what? I got to do a product. I got to do an info product. And what was it? Running Towards a Better Life.
Yeah, you were running.
Book about running.
You wrote a book.
And a digital course about running. And I put it all together. Oh my God. I studied so much on that little thing. Without even selling. That was the biggest mistake. I didn't even see if people wanted it.
Yep.
Guess what? Nobody wanted it.
Hey, I bought that shit.
Only my best friends, my group of people that always like believed in me, like they were there to buy it.
Yeah.
But that was the biggest mistake I could do because, one of the things that I learned today is like, let's sell first and then build, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's what people need to understand. Like, don't go build a product thinking of like, this is what I want. It's just go sell the product, ask people what they want, what they need, then you build the
Fulfilled.
product, then you fulfill, right? Because I think that's the best and easiest way to get out there and get money in the door. Like, you need to make money. Like, don't matter what it is that you're trying to sell, go make
From
money.
day one.
Then just go build it.
From
right?
day one.
So you did the book, you wrote the book. Well, the good thing about this, you're a self-published author, right?
That's right.
So you do have a book, right?
I do have a book
So
about
so
running.
that's cool. You know what I mean? I want to have a book too. That's cool. We'll get there. But the point is, how do you figure it out? What made you like wake up and be like, I gotta stop studying, I gotta go do. You know what I mean? You did this book. What was after? Like, walk us through that.
Yeah, so, I think one of the biggest things was I was always there, with you kind of getting advice, right? And like,
Yeah.
kind of saying, hey, this is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm doing now. And I think one of those times that we were talking, it was just like, hey, you're doing too much, And there was a moment in time where I was just doing everything and anything to just, I was thinking about multiple sources of income,
Right.
making money here, launching everything, and I wasn't moving forward, right? And that's when I kind of like, all right, I got to do something, one thing, and just do that, right? And sell before I even create anything. And that's when I got into just full-on marketing and started selling funnels. I did really, really good with that. We did our first like $13,000 a month there by myself, and I was like, whoa, we got something here. So product market fit was good. I sold it right before even making the funnel, right? Sold that first. Sold a few funnels, a few websites, got a few clients in the door, and then I started in the world of like outsourcing, right?
Yep.
That's when this all started, the outsourcing world of like, okay, I don't want to build the funnel myself, right? I don't want to build the website myself. So it's like, I'm going to charge the client, and then now I'm going to go find people to do the work, right? To delegate. That's kind of how I got in the world of delegation, but I really, really failed hard in that. And it was one of those things where I was outsourcing everything and anything, and even things that I did not know how to actually do myself. So it was one of those things where they would come back to me with the work, but now it was like horrible. It looked horrible, right? And then now I'm like, how do I give feedback, right? How do I finish this thing? And then after that, I saw myself, instead of outsourcing it, when they would give it back to me bad, I was like, this doesn't work. And I was doing it all myself again. So that was delegation to the worst. That was not delegation. And then I got super overwhelmed with all the clients, and I was like, you know what? No more clients. And then I was like, affiliate marketing. That's what we're going to do.
You keep on fucking jumping
I was
ships.
jumping and jumping and jumping.
There's a pattern here, huh?
There's a pattern. There is a pattern. Josh was like, no, we got to do something else. And I was like, I'm going to stay in marketing, but now we're going to do affiliate marketing.
You're like,
no clients.
I got this.
We're
just staying in the same niche.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to sell other people's products.
Boom. Genius.
And that's how I got there. And I made some good money there. We actually moved in together. And that year, I just focused on affiliate marketing. The full year, didn't jump ships until the end of the year.
Whatever you want to tell yourself.
And I did good money there. And that was the first one that I actually was doing money monthly. But I had really a lot of overhead I didn't have. And I wasn't doing that much work because I was already outsourcing things that I knew how to do, right? Not things that I didn't know how to do. So everything was working really, really good there. And then that business went crazy with traffic in the Philippines.
Yep. I
went to zero. We got it up to like around $6,000 a month. I did about $20,000 with one affiliate program, but then that quickly went to zero when my traffic from Facebook went to the Philippines.
Yeah, and then that's it, going. That's crazy, but there's a pattern, and you haven't watched the episodes. We haven't posted episodes, but there's a pattern. We're running on like episode 8, I think. And there's a pattern. Everybody that sits there before they push through that like big success stories, they had to understand one thing. You have to focus on one source of income that makes you the cash flow for you to be able to go invest and keep on figuring things out in other ways, right?
Yeah.
You need to focus on one. You need to become the best one in one thing, right? So first, it gets you a seat at the table. Second, you make enough cash flow for you to be able to survive and live and be at a stress, kind of like a stress-free, state of mind, where it's like, now I can afford to go and do things, right? And you see it with you. Like, there's the pattern. We're going to get, all the way to where we're at now. But, like, you guys are going to be able to see, like, you're going to be able to see, like, how things compounded all the way. Because, like, think about it. You did You did first of all school, right?
Yeah.
Smart ass motherfucker. Like this guy's smart. I'm telling you. You did school, amazing, crush it. You learn like all the the discipline, like working your ass off hours. Cause I remember back in college, like those exams is like people,
Yeah.
bro. I used to like get like because people go like, "What do you go to college?" And then you say Miami-Dade, right? But
Yeah.
it's like
No.
no. Miami-Dade honors.
Honors
You know what I mean?
college.
It is a different curriculum, right? So you did that. You learned kind of like the study part and all that, putting in the hours. After that, it's like you did network marketing. So like the mindset you got it from where? Network marketing,
Network
right?
marketing.
Then it's like you did the job, right? Was you learned all about systems, infrastructure. You were managing people. You had
Right.
people under you. You're basically the manager there. Then you go into this, into marketing. So you learn funnels. So what I'm trying to, the pattern here is like after funnels, you did affiliate. You learn how to outsource. You learn,
Right.
you crash against that wall that is like, when it comes to outsourcing, you need to know what you're outsourcing.
Yep.
A lot of people go through that. And in e-commerce, when I was doing e-commerce, that too. People used to sell these stores and have someone just do the job and they didn't even know what was going on behind it. And I was like, yeah, that's why most businesses that did that fail and lost so
Right.
much money because you don't know what's happening.
Yep.
You need to learn the skill set, then you outsource it. Like,
Correct.
You take feedback and opinions from other people that are doing it, but you need to learn it 1st to make sure you have something to train people on.
Yeah.
You got that from the experience of that failure. Then, after affiliate, you're like, all right, how do I put this together?
Right.
But you guys are gonna see, like, it's just basically compounded.
Yeah, there's a,
So-
there's a lot.
One learning from every failure compounded to your success,
Where
which
we at
is like,
today.
I know what I want, I know what I'm building, this is what it is.
Yeah.
What is that right now?
Now we're gonna be building world-class VAs, right?
Okay.
And also life mastery, right?
Mhm.
That's a big thing. I think they kind of come together
Yeah.
really, really good. But before I even started world-class VAs, there was a good like month, maybe month and a half, where I just sat down and just thought of everything that I've done before, why they failed and why they succeeded in some aspects. And I really wanted to do something where it made me feel good, right? Like almost like fulfilled. Because I really do believe like you can do any business, right? Like you can start any business, but there's some business that you like a little
Selling
bit.
water makes money, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, there's profit in water.
You know what I mean?
Do. But you really want to do something that you can like, I don't know, put your face behind it, right? Like put your brand behind it. Like I wanted to put my face to something that I was like proud of. And affiliate marketing in that space, I was doing good, but at the same time, I wasn't so like proud of it, right?
Yeah.
Especially at the end there, I was just not proud. I didn't feel fulfilled when it comes to like the day-to-day stuff in affiliate marketing. So then I was like, okay, let's sit down and kind of see what I have done and see what I liked and what can I like really dive into. And when I had all my VAs run my affiliate marketing business and like that training and making the SOPs and like I wasn't really working and the money was coming in and everybody was doing their jobs, that was the coolest thing for me, right?
Yeah.
And when I sat down and I saw that and I realized, I was like, you know what? Like, this is it. Like, I want to put, me behind this and I want to be known for this, right? I want to be known for the guy that can outsource your business completely, systemize it, and have a really cost-effective way to, like, run your whole entire business, your whole entire operation without you. Because when I was doing every business, how many hats did I have on?
Yep.
I was doing marketing, sales, content, reposting. I remember one time I was here at the house and I was just, texting people, DMing people, and you're like, what are you doing?
Yep.
And I was like, I'm messaging everybody for my affiliate marketing thing, for my content. And you're like, dude, you can't be doing that all day. And I was like, but I got to text them. I got to DM
just
them.
hire a VA, bro.
Yeah. And then that's when it clicked. And I was like, VAs, that's what we're going to be doing.
Yep.
And that's how we're here today. I'm really passionate, really, really excited for it. And I see this as a 5-10 year thing.
So world-class BAs, what exactly do you offer people? Do you take on clients? Do you help on business to systemize this?
Yes. So what we do is we help business owners outsource 80% of their business so they can remove themselves from the day-to-day operations.
Okay.
Right? So really they can focus on scaling. Because I feel like, one of the biggest things, especially for like beginner, like small business owners, they're wearing too many hats. right? They can't think about, where their business is going. They're just stuck in the everyday, I got to send these messages. I got to post this content. I got to create this content. I got to, do these sales calls. There's too many things in the business. And as we're building, Life Mastery, we see how many things go behind it. A business is not just, it can be simplified to like, hey, you're going to sell a product or a service, but there's so many things behind that have to go,
100%.
that have to work all together to like actually really, really grow. So what we do is we come in and we say, okay, what is your process right now? And how can we outsource that to a virtual assistant, right? And, from my experience, I was a perfectionist, right? I wanted to do everything myself because I thought, me, Joshua Diaz, will be the best one out there, and there can't be anybody that can do it like me. Completely wrong.
Yeah,
right?
No. Listen. When it comes to scaling, this is one thing. This is my opinion on that. Is nobody's gonna do it as good as you. You'd rather have 10 people doing 20% of of their potential than have just you doing 100, right?
Yep.
Because that's 200%. That's 100%. I would do better than you, right? So it's like when it comes to outsourcing, people have to think like that. It's like, and also time. When it comes to time, like you have 8 hours of the day that you're working. If there's a project happening that you need to do, you probably have other things happening. So you're not going to put in those 8 hours in that project. You're probably going to put 1 or 2 hours into that project. If you hire someone just to take care of that specific branch of the business or that specific project, that person will have the entire 8 hours to work on that project.
Right.
So when it comes to that leverages, I'd rather have someone full-time focused on one task than me doing a little bit of 10 tasks.
Yeah, and go nowhere.
And then it takes forever to move, to scale. So one question is that I wanted to ask you is like, what would you say is the right stage of your business that you're ready to like hire out, this VAs, outsource your work?
So what I've noticed is that you have to at least be ready to pay a salary, right? So you have to be making some money, right? Already. You have to have already some product market fit where you're already getting clients in the door, right? And you're managing all yourself, but you have some cash flow. It's not like you're starting from zero. I really don't recommend, you're just starting up today. Don't get a VA tomorrow.
Yeah, don't do what we did.
Yeah, because you want to, a relationship with a VA or virtual assistant is like, you want to make sure that you're paying them, every single month for their work.
Yep.
Right. So I would say if you're just starting out, this is not probably the best time for you. But if you are already making some cash flow, maybe $2,000 to $3,000 a month, you have some clients, you already have some processes that you're doing yourself that you can already see yourself outsourcing, this is probably the right time. And yeah, that's where I would say.
Yeah, I feel it depends a little bit on first what stage are you in financially.
Yeah.
Not only the business, because yeah, I agree with you 100%. So it goes back to what we were saying. So it's like if you don't know the process that you're trying to hire out, then how are you supposed to teach someone how to do that, right? So first, understand your processes, understand where you at in the business and what it is that you need to hire out. Then you go and hire it out.
Right.
But if you got money and you're starting up a business, like hire out everything from the start. Like,
yeah,
obviously you need to understand what they're gonna do, but outsource as much as you can from the start because that's where the scalability comes, right?
Yep.
And we're gonna talk about Life Mastery right now, what we've been able to build in the past 2 weeks, a little bit, touch on that. But it's like once you understand that concept, you scale a lot faster.
Yeah,
because you multiply yourself.
And that's the key thing here, right?
Yeah,
you only
100%.
have so many hours in a day. If you can have 2-3 people on your team, now you got the ball rolling because now you have, all right, everybody has like about 8 hours of work times 4.
Yep.
Right? Now you're moving. Okay. So, and I think I want to go back into like delegation because a lot of people, they start delegation like hiring out and outsourcing. Like how I used to do it, where it's like you're outsourcing something you really don't know about. So they get back, bad stuff, right? Bad feedback. You don't know how to even give feedback, and then you just do it yourself, right? That's bad delegation.
Yeah.
And I think one good thing for the audience is like when you are just starting to outsource, like you're gonna have something to outsource. There's 4 really, kind of sectors that you're gonna outsource from. So number 1 is things that you know how to do and you like to do. Right? So things that you know how to do and you like to do it, right? Number 2 in that second box is things you know how to do, but you hate to do it, right? They're just, you don't like doing that at all.
Yeah.
Number 3 are things that you kind of know how it works, but you really don't know all of it, right?
Okay.
And then number 4, things you don't know at all, how to do it at all. And most people start with number 4, right? Things that they don't know how to do, and it's just bad feedback. You don't know how to actually finish it, and then you just do it yourself, right? Bad delegation. And you add more work to your plate, which is what we're trying to avoid from the beginning, right? The only reason why you outsource is to have less things off your plate, right? Don't do a lot of stuff. So in my opinion, I think you really should focus on that second square, which is things that you really know how to do, but you hate it. You don't want to do it, right?
I like that.
So you can kind of make a little SOP, a little walkthrough of how to do it because you know how to do it. You give it to someone, and now you have things off your plate. Now you can focus on, okay, now let's go into that first sector, see what I can outsource, and get more stuff out. And then when you have a lot of time, now that you've replaced yourself with a few things, then you go into that third and that fourth square, where it's going to take a little bit of time to learn how to do it and then delegate it.
I like this because a lot of people don't have a structure when it comes to delegation, and they don't understand, what do I delegate first? What do I delegate last? So that's a good way for them to know, all right, I'm here, I know this, I'm going to delegate this. So that was pretty good. When it comes to a business, either, online business or, brick and mortar business, what would you say is like, well, you just answer this because it's basically, I was going to ask you, like, what's like the first thing that people should delegate? But you just said it, whatever
that you know that you hate.
That you hate. That's the first thing needs to get out the bat. Awesome. So, bro, like going through this journey, one thing I'd like to, ask people is, what has been your biggest failure when it comes to your career as entrepreneurship, and how do you snap out of it?
My biggest failure,
Yeah.
Money
talks, baby.
Yeah. My biggest failure was kind of realizing that I was jumping, and then it was like things that were compounding, but like I never really stuck to it because I wasn't focusing, on one thing. That was like my biggest thing first. And then I saw myself like, hey, every time, I was looking at something and like problems came up, I would just jump ship to another thing. Right. And I feel like now, like, it caused a big failure because like I could have been so much farther if I would have just stuck, in the trenches and just do it. But it also it opened up the door of like, if I didn't fail like that, I would have never sat down and said like, let's think about it. What do you want to do? What do you want to go all into? Right.
Yeah. That failure is basically what helped you like.
What helped me sit down and be like, all right, stop playing around. Stop jumping ship. You got to do something, bro, and stick to it. So that's where we're at today. So biggest failure, but also led to the biggest breakthrough.
Lessons.
Dude. Yeah.
Awesome. What made you like realize that? Is there a specific moment, specific thing that you like, oh shit, I got to get my things together?
I think it was my group. It was you guys. Having a few key players in my life that were like sticking to one thing. And then I see now like they stuck to one thing, and it was like now they're seeing breakthroughs because now years of doing that one thing, it's like they're catching on, they're learning, and they're really growing. You can see that in a few of our friends, where in the last year they've just been blowing up. So I think that was a big, like
snap moment.
Oh shit, we gotta get together.
That's awesome. So all of that takes you to the BA, the world-class BAs, right? Company. You're doing all of this. You're helping business and new entrepreneurs basically automate.
We find, hire, and train world-class VAs to place inside your business.
Boom. Amazing. I love that. So what is next for you within that business, within your career as entrepreneurship?
So what's next is really, I now know the ins and outs of like outsourcing. So now we're like, as I'm building it in parallel with Life Mastery, right? I'm seeing like, okay, I know the roadmap.
Yeah.
And now it's just executing those departments, right? Like, I know I have to be doing lead gen, right?
Yeah.
I know we got to put an affiliate program together. I know I have to have back end systems for content and, and providing value with people when it comes to that. So now it's just really diving deep into those, even the 7 steps, bro. Like right now we're at scaling, right?
Yeah.
You got to go into those departments or really figure out, okay, what are we going to outsource here? How are we going to do it? And just do. I think that's where my mind is right now. It's just do. Forget about everything else. You'll figure it out along the way.
Don't think, Just do.
Yeah.
Boom. It's there. So, yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, Life Masters basically, a business that we're building together, and it's a platform, a mastermind program with a specific blueprint, specific bulletproof blueprint that we put together in the past few years to help people break through in different stages of the life. Like no matter what stage you're in, you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even starting up. Like we're helping people do that, through this mastermind program and platform that we're building to start, build, and scale their businesses. So that's why it goes together with what you're building, obviously with world class, because we compensate a lot on that end. And that is something that I would tell people to I would recommend people. It's like when you're building up something, like you need to look for people that compensate your weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
To help you push to the next level of that business, because you can't be the best one at everything, right?
Right.
You might have the ideas, but maybe you don't know how to implement them, or maybe you know how to implement them, but then the ideas don't flow. You know what I mean? So it's like that puzzle when it comes to building a company, even like starting up as an entrepreneur. Like look for friends that compensate on whatever area you're weak on. Like understand it's like, hey, I don't know how to do this. I'm not the best one at it, or I don't like. It's the same thing when it comes to outsourcing that you just talked about. Those 4 points. Might be good at it, but I hate doing it. We need to find someone that can compensate for that. So it's either your personal life, entrepreneurship, business, self-analyze yourself and be like, what am I missing? Like, what are the things that I can outsource? Maybe it's a friend that can help me push in this area of life. Or maybe when it comes to business, it's one specific task that I need to outsource. So I feel this self-analysis, it works in every area of your life. And that's going to be like the main twist of like life mastery. I just came up with that, by the way. That is going to be like the main analysis is that you need to audit yourself.
Yeah.
No matter what stage of your life you're auditing, run through these steps, right, that we put together and be like, where am I at? What do I need to work on? Who do I need, right? Those questions get you there. But when it comes to BAs, bro, a lot of people don't know. And I wanted to ask you this to, make sure that the audience gets the most out of this podcast. And it's like, yeah, you're talking about outsourcing, hiring out people as much as you can. But listen, when you're in the US and you try to hire out people, it costs a lot of money. Like any salary here in the US right now, let's just say an executive assistant in the US will cost you maybe $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month.
And that's on the low end.
Easy. And that's in the low. So tell us a little bit about this outsourcing, world, and how do you find good people? Like, how do you look for the right people, right? All of this to find people to help you at a low cost so it doesn't outweigh basically the income that you're making.
Yeah. So that's a great question. Here in the U.S., any employee today, no matter remote or not remote, you're talking about $3,000 to $4,000 a month,
Easy.
right? Full time, right? That's for full time work. And when you're talking about entrepreneurs that are just starting up or small business owners, it's not in the budget, right? When I was just starting up and I needed to find someone to do inbound and outbound messages on Facebook and all the social media platforms, I was like, I can't pay $3,000 a month. There was no way. It was either me or nobody, right? In the U.S. So when we got into the outsourcing world, and I was like, okay, I've done a lot of work on Fiverr, and we also had Manny over here built a he's very humble, but he built a 45 VA team.
I know a little bit about outsourcing.
Yeah, in the Philippines, and then I always had that connection, so I was like, Manny, tell me a little bit more about this, and he put me on the first VA, and then after that it was history. But previously to that, I was really just used to like things like Fiverr, right? Yeah. I was to this day I think I have like 2,000 jobs like outsourced through Fiverr, and that was like the whole entire history. But the thing with Fiverr is that you get VAs from all over the world, right? Pakistan, India, the Philippines. You get it from Canada, literally the US. You get it so much. But the thing with Fiverr is that most of the times those VAs have like they're specialized in one task, and they still charge you a little bit more, right? For their hourly. Like they might do it in 5 minutes and charge you, $20, $30, whatever it is. But when I really needed someone on board full time, right? And that's kind of the search that I was. And the thing with Fiverr, it's like Fiverr is 100% turnover. So every time you do a job, even if it's like, hey, this could be for 30 days, they're not really dedicated to you. They have like 10, 20 other clients, right? Through Fiverr. So they're not really like your teammate, right? So I was like, you know what? We got to do a full-time virtual assistant. I was going to train them because I already knew the process, right? This time I knew it. I just didn't like doing it because I was all day. My fingers were about to, fall off when it comes to messages. And I was like, all right, we got to do this. So I did my first interview from the Philippines. And this is a very, very big thing. I love the Philippines, right?
Oh.
Philippines, probably the best VAs come from the Philippines because of culture, super loyal, and their work ethic is like
Boom.
unstoppable.
Quick shout out to Joseph and the team over there. Like literally, I feel that I have an entire family in Philippines. Like I was at a point in my business that we were able to build a team over 45 people. So literally, I have so many connections with people in Philippines. That they're more like family than even anything else, right? So when it comes to that, I want to piggyback on that. For those of you that don't know, Upwork.com and Fiverr are basically two websites that you can use to, filter down by specific criteria
Or task,
and look for, or task, and then look for people that could, you could outsource the work to. When it comes to looking for someone to help you build your business, literally you can find someone here in the US that is on Fiverr, that is on Upwork. So how you do that is you want to be able to filter down into countries like the Philippines. I had at the beginning when I was building teams, like I had people in India, I have people in Pakistan, and all these countries. And you can literally filter down all the way to the country, the specific tasks that you need, the languages that they speak, all of this cool stuff. So if they're building their business, literally Fiverr, Upwork, that's where it's at, to look for information on how to do that, right?
Right.
And I feel when it comes, I agree with you. Philippines is the spot to be at, to build your teams at. When it comes to English speaking, BAs, and it's the culture, how they are, all of that good stuff. So when you go to this website, if you're trying to build a team, just look for Philippines. Like that's where the people is gonna be.
But now I'm gonna do a big thing here, right? Because I actually do not recommend Fiverr or Upwork anymore.
Okay.
Right? Because they're not dedicated to you. Right, they're not in your team. So now, my biggest website now is either through our network of VAs that we have currently, but we also use onlinejobs.ph.
So it's specifically used
only for the Philippines, and there you can really find people for literally $4 or $5 an hour.
Nice. So another thing I want to add in there is that I did when building the team is when you want to start filtering them down through the sites, run the interview process, pre-qualify them. Obviously, not all of them are going to be good. Make sure they speak English if that's what you're looking for, or Spanish, whatever type of, building, team you're building. But then you want to build a relationship with them. So once you find someone that is like, okay, this is a good leader, this is someone I want to work with, take them out of those sites. I take them, like literally when I started building, it's like everybody I hire on Upwork, I literally took them out of there within days. Like, I'm not trying to pay because like some of these sites, they charge like
30%.
20-30% on top of what you're paying. So they do protect you. So you don't want to do that out the bat. You want to get to work with the person first. But you want to make sure you take them out of there and you work with them personally and you build a relationship. Because then it comes to building your network of BAs all over the world. Like I literally have BAs in Pakistan, India, Philippines, even right now in Cuba, which is mind blowing.
Insane.
But we're building a network of BAs all over the world because all I do is pick the one that knows how to lead, that has a good network, and from there on you start building the team. And whenever you need something, hey, listen, I'm looking for a specific task-oriented person. They help you find it because their friends do the same thing they do. So when it comes to building your team, do that. Find a leader, find a manager, someone that helps you build the network, and go build your own network of VAs. Yeah. I think that it will add a lot of value to people.
100%.
So when it comes to, hiring the VAs, training them, building the relationship with them and all of that, how's the paying process? Like, how do you pay your team? Because that's one question a friend asked me the other day. And I was like, yeah, but how do I pay them? Like, how do I communicate with them? Yeah. This is questions that might be simple for us because we've been doing it for years. But like a lot of people are trying to build their team. They're kind of like, should I trust them? Listen, you should trust them. Not everybody, but once you build a relationship, like my team at one point, they were running over $20 million in transactions. And they had access to credit cards from like all clients, myself, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like daily. And I literally never had an incident of like they're using the credit cards to buy other stuff that they're not supposed to buy,
Yeah.
or they just using the credit. In the Philippines, I never had this happen.
Yeah, no. Me neither.
So what's the process like? How do you pay them? That's
Yeah.
one question. And how do you communicate with them? Is it like regular phone number? Like
I got you.
what is it? Talk
I
to
got
me.
you. So as soon as I hire a VA, the first thing that I use, and one software that I use is an app, Slack. Slack is probably the best communication channel I have ever experienced. And to this day, when I hire a new client or get a new VA in the team, the first thing I do is add them into Slack. And that's kind of where we put all the communications, right? It's like one place where I can have myself, the VA, the client,
Boom,
everybody on together, and super simple to use. It's almost like a Discord, but a little bit different the way they set it. Super easy to use. Highly recommend Slack for communication. Paying. So paying, I use PayPal up to this day. Super simple. You just have to pay a little transaction fee to send it to the Philippines, but they make it very, very easy just to, have the Philippines give your email, put it in there, send their payment, and bi-weekly. So that's the payment method, PayPal.
So that's one thing you want to ask them too. So you want to, you're building a relationship. So you want to ask them what works best for them,
Right.
What transaction method works best. For some of them it's PayPal, but some of them don't have a PayPal account, right? So there's other websites that you can pay them through, but ask them what works best for you. Because remember, people need to understand this. You're trying to make their life easier so they can focus on what they're really doing, and they get paid on time. And this is another thing I would tell people, because I have heard some crazy stories. Make sure they get paid, bro.
Yeah, and on time.
Like, they're just people just like us. They have families just like us. They got bills. They got food to put on the table. So just because they're in another country doesn't mean you can have them do a lot of work and just walk out on them and don't pay them. Because like a lot of people do that stuff, and it's just fucking, it's come on, like you're scamming people. They're just people, right?
And it's actually they're so loyal that they actually work hours and weeks.
Yeah, and let me tell you, most of them are smarter than you guys are watching this shit. Because like I have some VAs that they've been working with me that I'm like, wow, like you can really, they're killers. Like, shout out to Joseph again. Like the manager that helped me basically build the entire infrastructure for Amazon, and we train everybody and we keep on working together. This guy, he's smart. Like he can build systems. He learns right away. Like. So it's like, why wouldn't you pay them? Like, if there's one thing when it comes to outsourcing and when it comes to building team, everybody gets paid. And that is one of my rules when it comes to building business. I don't care about me getting paid. Make sure everybody gets paid. No matter what you do, if you say, I'm paying you this, you get people paid.
Yep.
That's rule number one when it comes to outsourcing and building your network, because first is your name. And just because they're in Philippines doesn't mean your name is not going to be trash.
Oh, yeah. And the network girl, if you do that, trust me, you're going to be everywhere over there.
Yeah. Like, if you don't pay them, like, you would never be able to hire someone. You know what I mean? Like, what would you do that?
That's one thing we handle now at World Class VA. So since we've had our VAs, we kind of have our VAs like on our side. We want to make sure that they're protected at all times, because I've seen horror stories from VAs, and they're really, really good people, hard workers, but they get transferred to a client or whatever, or placed in a company, and then they work 4 weeks and never get paid. And it happens all the time. And one thing we do over here at World Class VA is that we actually are going to handle that payment process, so you don't have to, figure out the payment methods, and also we make sure they get paid for their work.
Boom.
Because it's a big thing, right? A lot of people, especially here in the U.S., like we care about our client, our U.S. client, but we also have to care about our VAs, right? Like they're just people.
Listen, it goes back to what Gary B says. Your employees don't work for you, you work for them.
Right.
And just because they're BAs doesn't mean that rule changes.
Yep.
When I get on those calls, it's like I'm trying to figure out how can I add value to them. I'm trying to figure out how can I make their life easier. I'm trying to figure out, hey, if we're doing great, let's have performance bonuses, let's have team dinners, let's have all this set up, because that's part of the culture of the company you're building. So when you're building a company, scaling, all of that, you work for your team.
Yeah.
They don't work for you. You work for them. So you got to consistently be thinking, how can I help this guy? Like, how can I make his life easier, better, and making money? That's key when you're building and scaling a business, because they're the ones helping you grow. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that's key when it comes to scaling. Bro, a lot of value, a lot of good information. I feel, people definitely got a lot of value out of this podcast when it comes to, scaling systems and all of that. Is there anything that you feel that I should have asked you, but you know that you still want to talk about, or anything that you want to add value to the audience?
I
when it
think
comes to that?
I want to get clear real quick about the pay, you know, because
Okay.
it's a huge, you know, the value that they bring is so crazy. And it literally, it's like a game changer, especially for like small business owners or like entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
right, that don't really have that budget. Like, let's go back, US worker, right? If I want to hire a social media manager here in the US, we're talking about 40K a year.
Easy,
right?
bro.
Easy,
50,
40K a
60,
year,
easy.
right?
Yeah.
And, you know, we're talking about they want to have benefits, they want to have that 401k.
No, they're entitled all the bat. They're like, no, I need to have all
And they
these
know it
benefits.
all, right? They know it all. Now, when it comes to the Philippines, right, you can literally train or even find someone that's already trained as a social media manager, and you're talking about $450 to $600 a month for full-time work, right? So, in the other side, and here in the U.S., you're talking about 40 to 50,000. In the Philippines, you're talking about 5 to 6K a year. That's huge.
So that you literally get basically the same value or more for 10 times less money. And this is something I want to point out too. That's great that you talked about that. Because a lot of people is like, no, you're exploiting them. No, you're actually helping them tremendously.
Yeah.
Because you're putting opportunity in front of people that are ready to work. They're hungry. They want to do better. And in some of these countries, like $100 a month is already a lot of money. So
For sure.
it goes back to like, it's not only scaling your business, but it's like you're impacting lives.
Oh, that's big. And honestly, the one you hire, you really go into full gear.
Yeah,
like when
yeah.
you hire your VA, now you're like, oh, I gotta make sure my VA gets paid, right? Because for them, sometimes it's like food on the table.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
And $500 to $600 in the Philippines, it's a full salary over there. And some of them, it's remote work, so they love it. They can choose their schedule. They're at their house. They don't have to do a 3-4 hour drive because sometimes they have to drive to the city to get to work. And it's like it's day and night for them. They love having
Opportunity,
becoming
comfort, and they learn. They love it because they're learning.
100%. And as I said, like when you're a business owner and you employ a VA, it's like now you're like all
you're
in.
a fast track.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're all in. And
Yeah, because you're able to literally get so much work off your table to help you grow faster. As a business owner, there's only 2 things you got to focus on, right?
Tell them.
Revenue and scaling. That's about it. Everything else outside of revenue and scalability needs to be outsourced, needs to be hired out, either in the US or, anywhere else, but it needs to be hired out. Because when you're able to focus on those 2 things, you have your mind on basically a creative stage all day that all you're thinking about is like, how do I grow? How do I get better? How do I bring more money in? Because everything else is delegated. That's how you grow.
Yep.
That's how you like speed up.
That's the switch that most people don't get because most CEOs, they're working in their business, not on their business.
Yep.
Right. And when you outsource, now you're working on your business. You're thinking about the big picture, the big vision. What pieces do I have to move today to get the big goals?
A lot of people out there don't understand, but I'm going to tell you this straight up. If you're working 8 hours a day in your business, 40 hours a week in your business, you don't have time to go travel, to go enjoy the fruits of your business. I'm not talking about earlier stage business. I'm talking about a solid business that you've been running for a year, 2 years plus. Trust me, you don't have a business. You have a job.
Oof.
You have a
100%.
well-paid job.
All day.
What's the point? What's the point? You know what I mean?
Why'd you get into business,
Why'd you get
right?
into business then? I mean, to what? Works 12 hours, 16-hour days and still don't have time to enjoy or do anything because you got to run every little department on your business? That's not the point. And the point is to build a productive business that you can step in 1-2 hours a day and be able to supervise everything and be able to make sure that your business runs smoothly. Obviously, if you're in a growth stage, which most of us we always are, growing, now you have more time to focus on growth instead of focusing in running the business.
Right.
So I think that's key. Bro, a lot of value. Super excited to get this out there for people to watch, get some feedback, some questions. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a lot of questions. So if you have any questions, you drop them down below. We'll get back to you. We'll get, some feedback there and help you guys as much as possible. 2 things I ask at the end of every podcast for you to get value and for the audience to get value as well is, right now, on the stage of life that you're in, what do you have? What do you need? What do you have to offer people? Some people can collaborate with you somehow. And what do you need? What is that one thing that you're looking for, either, you know, in the audience or mentors, you know, partnerships? What is it that you need right now?
So what do I have? World-class VAs, right? I really want to also help a lot of people because my business, we're really, you know, focused on business owners that are already bringing in a lot of cash flow that now it's like they're really trying to remove some remote. Well, I'm like going crazy here.
Do your thing, bro.
Remove their themselves from their day-to-day operations. Like that's where we come in. But like everybody else is just starting up. I'm here to really provide value. I'm gonna give it all away. Like how Alex Hermosi says, like, you know, give the information, sell the implementation is what I'm doing here. Like I'm here, you know, follow me at, you know, the real Joshua Diaz, all platforms. I'm gonna be really going all in on content next month, and as we're building, because as we're documenting, I'm literally just gonna be pushing in there in the inner circle, going all in there, showing you kind of how to outsource your business. So what do I have? If you are looking for the implementation, I hire, you know, we find, hire, and train the full virtual assistant, any position, to really just place in your business and remove yourself from the day to day. That's what we do. What do you need? What do I need? All right, big one. I actually was ready for this one.
Yeah,
what do I need?
Yeah, because he's behind the scenes, so he watched
I'm
the
behind
first
the
episode.
scenes.
You know
So
what I mean?
I cooked something up. So I want an affiliate army. What do I need is an affiliate army, because I really want to push this out, especially for people that need it when they're starting out. So if you go to worldclassva.com/apply, and we'll put
this guy had this ready for this
little
podcast.
this little funnel.
Do I get a referral, bro? Do I get a little kick in?
Of course.
I gotta get something out
Of course.
of this.
My shameless plug.
This guy got the
worldclassva.com/apply, and you're gonna actually get the application to become an affiliate for World Class VA. So
awesome.
High ticket, $500 to $1,000.
He's even marketing his stuff in here. Okay.
I'm marketing.
He's going for the sale.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Shameless plug.
Amazing.
And, yeah, that's what I need.
Awesome, bro. So we'll drop your information down below. So people can reach out to you. People get the application going, and then,
Affiliate
get some
army.
sales in. I feel affiliate helps every business scale super fast. And I'm excited for people to see what we're building behind the scenes, as well as, see you grow with world-class VAs. There's a lot that we're working on. And listen, by the time you're watching this podcast, the inner circle is probably going to be out and ready for you to get. So check out the link down below. You're not only going to be getting access to the information that I'm putting together, but you're also going to be able to get access to him one-on-one, to get access to all this information, everything that we're doing on the community that we're building for Life Mastery. So super pumped and excited, bro.
Me too, bro.
To have you here, and to share all this value with people, because I feel this is value some people charge thousands of dollars for, and we're literally just coming out here. I'm putting it out basically for free. So excited to do that. Excited to see where this goes. And for the next podcast, we're gonna keep on doing them probably a year from now to see where we at, where you at with everything, and for people to see the growth, because that's something I want to document, and I want people to see. So let's do it. That's a wrap. Guys, that was Manny Talks, another one in the books. See you in the next one. Make sure to click the subscribe button so we can get you in content like this and amazing stories just like this one. See you in the next one. That was out.
Peace out,
Boom.
Girl Scout.
Peace out, bro. Scout.